The adventure is outside the box. Hey guys, so this white wall behind me is a part or a piece of my RV. So I just want to make a quick video for my friends and just talk a little bit about my power supply. I don't think a lot of my friends understand how it all works, and I just want to show you how I get my power. Let's go inside the RV, show you how it all works. Okay guys, so inside the RV right now. So the batteries that I use, they're 6 volts. You can either go with one 12 volt or you can go with two 6 volts. And when you hook up two 6 volts, they become one 12 volt. Why 12 volts is so important? The name of the game is 12 volts. The solar panels above me on my roof operate in a 12 volt system. This charge controller right here operates on a 12 volt system. So do my inverters. If you operate this on a 6 volt or you have your solar panels wiring into a 6 volt, you're going to damage the equipment. So the entire system is 12 volts. There's a lot of videos online on how to hook up 6 volt batteries together in parallel and in series. They're all over the place. All you have to do is Google them. So I'm not going to get into that. But for my system, so I decided to go with 6 volts and just link them together and make 12 volts out of them. 4 6 volt batteries, 2 of them paired to make 12 volts, another 2 to make 12 volts, and then they're connected together. So I'm looking at about 440 amp hours. So I went with gel batteries because they don't off gas. I can leave them inside my RV and they're simply filled with distilled water. Every month I'll open up the batteries and I'll just check the levels of the distilled water. If they're too low, because they're supposed to be at a certain level, if they're too low, then I have an eyedropper and distilled water and I simply add some water to it. A little more expensive, but I was told that overall the batteries would last longer, they would drain slower, and that's what I wanted. I've been operating this for about, God, it must be about 3 months now, and I haven't had any problems. The batteries, you don't want them to go below half, so I basically have 220 amp hours to play with. If it's sunny out, you got endless power. If it gets dark, you know. There is some misinformation on YouTube. I stumbled across a lot of it when I was doing the research on batteries. My batteries, my 6 volt batteries, are 220 amp hours. The only thing I want to clear up is that if you hook up two 6 volt batteries together, you double the charge. So two 6 volt batteries becomes one 12 volt battery. The amp hours don't double. So even though they're individually 220 amp hours, each 6 volt 220 amp hours, when you hook them together to make a 12 volt, you don't double the amp hours, so it's still one 12 volt battery at 220 amps. Any device that operates on 100 watts, any device, 100 watts is basically 8.333333 goes forever amps. 8 divided by 220, that's how many hours of power I'm going to be able to use. Just keep in mind that the inverter, when the batteries drain below 40%, the inverters will actually shut off to prevent the batteries from draining. If you go below 40%, you're going to damage them. 2 inverters that I have here. This bottom inverter right here, this is the modified. I only use it for coffee machines, coffee makers that don't have digital displays on them. An electric hot plate that doesn't have a digital display that needs a lot of power, like say something like 1400 watts. It's a 3000 watt inverter, and it just it handles a lot more power, but again it's modified, so I would never hook up anything digital. What I use here is the top inverter, and this is a Pure Sine Inverter connected to the batteries, and it's 1000 watts. So I use this all the time. This is what I use for all my electronic equipment. This right here is plugged into my refrigerator. This right here is just an outlet that I run to the back of the RV for anything I want to plug in, lights, a cell phone, or a laptop, or a camera, digital camera for instance, for recharging purposes. Next we have a charge controller, and this is a 30 amp charge controller. It receives power from the solar panels that are on the roof, and the solar panels send the electricity to the charge controller, and the charge controller is connected to the batteries. And it'll handle up to 30 amps, so I've got plenty of room to add more solar panels if I want to, because I'm only bringing in about 10 amps right now. This charge controller can handle 30 amps. It regulates the charge from the solar panels, and when the batteries are full, this charge controller will cut off any additional energy flow to your battery. It will serve to prevents you from damaging your batteries, because we don't want to overload the batteries and destroy them. The wires that I'm using to hook up the batteries to the inverter are 2-AUG 2/0. They're very thick, and the reason why I went with them, they're a little bit more expensive. When I was watching a lot of the documentaries, I found that that people were using thinner wires, smaller wires, and they were having problems. They weren't able to maximize the energy use of these inverters. There was a little bit of burning going on. So by going with the larger 2-AUG wire, I don't feel like I have a problem. I think any current that comes through the inverter to any of my electronic equipment will be able to handle any capacity. So I thought, better be safe than sorry, go with a thicker wire even though it was more expensive. One thing I want to mention about my fridge is that it doesn't draw 110 watts or 120 watts all the time. When it's plugged into the inverter, it will come on and draw about 110, 120 watts for about 15 minutes, and then it'll shut off for about 45 minutes because the inside of the fridge is already being cooled, and it just senses when the temperature inside the fridge goes down. It's not constantly drawing 110 or 120 watts. It shuts off periodically and comes back on. So I can leave it on all day, or I can leave it on all night, and I'm really not going to draw a lot of power from it. And the fridge is one of the most important items that I have in my RV. And all you have to do is turn it on, power it on. My refrigerator right now is using 110 watts. This next number is 12.6. So right now my batteries are at full capacity. 12.5 is full. And as your batteries drain, they go from 12.6, 12.5, 12.3, 12.2, 12.1. When they hit 12 and 11.9, that's when your batteries are getting below 50%, heading into the 40%. And you do not want to go below 40%. In this inverter, actually, when it hits 40%, this inverter will actually shut off to prevent you from draining any more battery power, so it doesn't damage your batteries, because you won't be able to use their full potential in the future. The last thing I want to mention is the fan basically has 3 settings, 1, 2, and 3. I've always just kept it on setting 1, and I blow air in. You can reverse it and blow air out too. Fantastic fan's pretty simple once you've installed it. I have a reverse, so I can pull the air in and I can pull the air out. And then all you do is this knob right here. It's got 3 different speeds. Pull it 1, 2, and 3. I keep it on 1, and this fan will suck in air and blow out air. And without it, you'd pretty much cook. As soon as I get in my RV, I always turn the fan on right away. The circulation is amazing, and it keeps everything inside cool. When this Pure Sine inverter is on, it actually draws 3 amps each hour that it's on, and I want to limit that type of power drain. The fan, I actually connected directly to the batteries with alligator clamps. It eliminates that 3 amp draw that the inverter would be drawing if I had have connected it directly to the inverter. I'm gonna have to talk a little louder, because as you can see, I've got a lot of power plugged in right now. Now that I've totally confused you with how my power system works, I might want to tell you what this is, and then I should show you what one of these will do for you. Maybe in another video. Instant cell phone power. So considering everything I just told you, forget about everything and just remember one thing. All you have to do is push this button right there and you have power. Unlimitless power. I love solar panels.